Criticism is something for some reason no one knows how to take. Now, I'm not saying everyone doesn't know how to take criticism, but there's sure a lot of idiots on the internet who think that criticism is a punishable crime. And they also think that criticism makes you a hater, which is one of the dumbest words I've ever even heard of. Now, before I continue, let me explain what criticism is. Criticism is something you do or say to show someone their faults and how they are wrong. For example, the gamer from Mars made a video talking about the Game Theory channel, talking about the changes that have happened on the channel.
About 2 weeks ago at this point, I made a video called What Happened to Game Theory, where I discussed some changes I've seen to MatPat over the years, and some theories I had about the entire situation.
Then, in MatPat's response, he does a live stream with his wife, watching the video, calling him a hater, and basically trying to debunk everything the gamer from Mars said.
Then a week after that, it got a little weird when MatPat released his own video called What Happened to Game Theory on his own channel. I was a bit confused by this, but then I kind of forgot. Then all of a sudden he drops a live stream where he spends almost an hour reviewing my video on him. So, what happened? I always thought of Matt as the kind of guy that's always been able to ignore anybody talking about him and he just focuses on what he's doing best on his channel. But for some reason, I guess my video struck a chord and he decided to make this live stream.
In which for some reason they seem very defensive about everything they talk about, especially MatPat's wife. As most of you guys know, the Game Theory has a very young audience, so it was no surprise that the Gamer from Mars video got dislike bombed. As most channels with a younger audience, they like to do that when someone criticizes their favorite YouTuber, they decide that they need to dislike the entire video, sometimes even the entire channel. Now, this is nothing against MatPat. I think he used to make really great content, but ever since he made the FNAF switch, I really just kind of lost interest and it's just not for me. There are a lot of other examples of MatPat acting like a child and not being able to take criticism, but I don't want to stretch the video out longer than I have to. And it's not just people getting criticized who can't take criticism, it's also the fans. If you're not aware of the word sheeple, I'll explain. It's when a group of people blindly defend or follow another person, usually a celebrity. A new example is Rob Schneider. Recently, he called out SNL and Alec Baldwin, pointing out how unfunny Alec Baldwin's Trump skits are on SNL. He does make good points saying why it isn't funny and how it's predictable. Now, if you're not under the age of 10, you're probably thinking, well, that's some pretty good constructive criticism. And you'd be right, but the rest of Twitter thought otherwise, calling Rob Schneider irrelevant. And what does Rob Schneider know? It's not even like he worked on SNL or is a comedian. Now, I honestly don't care for Rob. He seems like a cool dude. He has a pretty solid career, but I wouldn't call myself a fan. But the fact that people aren't even listening to him and just calling him irrelevant is fucking pathetic. If your response to criticism is, oh, fuck that guy, he's irrelevant, who cares? Then please crawl into a pit and starve to death, because it's so fucking annoying hearing people call other people irrelevant because they don't agree with them. And it's crazy, because most of the people who call other people irrelevant are also like random idiots on Twitter with no followers. And which doesn't even make sense. It actually hurts my brain thinking about it. And sadly, there are famous people who respond by criticizing people by calling them irrelevant. You know who does that? Ricegum. Do you really want to be like Ricegum?
Have all those guys that are irrelevant now, but hey, irrelevant. I feel like this guy thinks he's like above people. Like he was calling people peasants and irrelevant, like, you're irrelevant.
If you do, please hit puberty and then I'll ask you again. Now, the way to respond to criticism is simple, boys. Take notes. If it's personal, don't respond. If someone is criticizing you in a hurtful way, or if they really are just making it personal with no points, then leave it alone. They're just trying to get your reaction and publicity. But if it is constructive criticism, then respond in a classy way. Don't just be like, you're wrong because fuck you, that's why, and I'm more famous than you. If they brought up good points, then you bring up good points. If you can't, then accept that you're wrong and they're right. Also, another simple solution is watch Ricegum's response video to iDubbbz, then don't do anything he did. Now, the best way to respond to criticism as a fan is super simple, boys. Check this out. Just don't. It's as simple as that. I know, it's fucking crazy, right? For example, one of my favorite rappers, Chris Webby, made a song talking about politics called Raw Thoughts. He seems to swing more left when it comes to politics, which is totally fine. I personally don't swing that way. I swing towards more right, but I'm just a 16-year-old kid, so I'm not gonna go on Twitter and cry about how we don't agree on the same politics. I think he made really good points in his song and I respect him for that. Yes, I don't agree with everything he says, but that's the beauty of it all, boys. Like, you don't have to agree with everything another person says. I have a friend who knows nothing about politics and shits on Trump because Twitter said so. That's fucking dumb, but I'm not gonna stop being his friend because we don't agree on one thing. And if you think a person is wrong, then bring it up with your own points. Don't just call them irrelevant. Have meaning and points to your response. At the end of the day, I just hope I helped at least one person learn something. With that being said, I upload every Monday. Check out my other videos. Please don't subscribe off of this one video because maybe we don't agree on most things, which is totally fine, but you shouldn't follow someone you can't relate to or agree with on most things.